An assortment of birds, eagles, falcons, owls, and many others perch inside a tangle of old, weathered buildings.
Missing an eye as a result of a vehicle collision.
For a dozen or so of these raptors brought to the North Island Wildlife Recovery Center in Arrington, with injuries so grievous they can never survive in the wild again, these wood and wire cages are permanent homes.
We get between 300 to 500 animals a year. The public are the ones who bring the animals into us, and so they come here. The fawns are brought because they've lost their mom somehow. Electrocution on the eagles. 50% of the young eagles that come in are poor hunters, so that they come in starving.
The center was the first wildlife rehabilitation facility on the island to be granted a permit to hold and help the Vancouver Island black bear.
Previously, they were just putting the small cubs down, so that's mostly what we get is the cubs. They lost their mothers due to vehicle collisions or starvation, things like that. So we take the bear cubs in, and today we have 10 cubs.
Many of the creatures brought to the center will only spend a few months here in these shelters while they are nursed back to health.
We have released about 1,200 eagles back into the wild over the years and 200 black bears.
However, the success of the facility over the past 30 years has also been a detriment. Because more animals are being taken in, the maintenance of some of the buildings has been overlooked in lieu of buying food and providing veterinary care.
25 years ago, we were just building whatever we had, and with volunteer labor. And so these cages really need to be redone. You can see that they almost look like they're leaning. To run this facility, we have a budget of about $300,000 a year. The cost of running the center is mostly has to do with food for the animals, the buildings for the animals. These enclosures are not cheap. They, especially the bears, the last building that cost us about $140,000. So it has to be all engineered and so forth to keep the public and the animals safe.
The center recently competed in the national Aviva campaign in a bid to win a large enough grant to replace some of the dilapidated enclosures and run water lines to the buildings.
Unfortunately, we didn't really do that well. They did give us $5,000, which we are totally grateful for. We can't undermine that at all. But we had asked for between $70,000 and $100,000. So it was a little bit disappointing. How are we going to get more money to do those enclosures? Well, of course, we're going to ask the public if they can help us.
A generous supporter from Victoria has added another $5 grand to the building fund, bringing the total to $10,000. Even though many of the upgrades will now have to wait, it hasn't deterred Sylvia's optimism.
With everything that we do here, we appreciate everything that comes in through the door. So we have never, ever thought of failure. We have always marched through whatever we had to march through, and we have really succeeded, I believe. We have succeeded for the animals. We have succeeded to educating the public about wildlife and the environmental issues. So we never have a bad day.
As the human footprint reaches further into the wilderness of Vancouver Island, so too does the need to help the animals that sometimes suffer from close encounters with us. At the North Island Wildlife Recovery Center, I'm Annette Lucas.